shootings at Michigan State University leave 3 people dead and the school closed for 2 days.
In Robeson County, a juvenile suspect remains at large after a man was found dead in a car.
Those stories, plus university volunteers, can help some in the community to file their income taxes this year. I'm Madison Schwinneker.
And I'm Andrew Thrift, and you're watching Carolina News Today. Another mass shooting on a college campus last night. 3 students are dead and 5 more people are seriously injured at Michigan State University. CNN's Ivan Rodriguez filed this report.
We were there locked in the rooms, and the guys were telling us to run out the back doors as quick as we can and run for our lives. And I sprinted out there as fast as I can into the woods.
Fear and panic at Michigan State University Monday night. Police say a gunman opened fire after entering an academic building at MSU before heading to the student union.
Acres dying in the whole
Officers went in racing as students poured out. Police found the bodies of 2 students in Berkey Hall and another at the student union. 5 other students were critically injured. The suspect, a 43-year-old man, later died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer says the MSU Spartan community is devastated.
We're all broken by an all too familiar feeling. Another place that is supposed to be about community and togetherness, shattered by bullets and bloodshed. We know this is a uniquely American problem.
One of the responding doctors unable to hold back his emotions. Police credit an alert citizen who recognized the suspect and helped officers locate him shortly after the photo was released.
We cannot thank the public and the community and the person who called in that report enough for being observant, for following our messaging, and for being vigilant.
Rosman says all of the victims were Michigan State University students and the gunman had no tie to the university.
MSU will be closed for 2 days, and counseling locations for students and staff have expanded to 3 dining facilities around campus.
The Robeson County Sheriff's Office today announced the arrest of a 4th suspect relating to the death of a Robeson County man. But a juvenile suspect remains at large. According to the Sheriff's Office, Timothy O. Jacobs was found dead in a car in a field on February 1st near Hornet Road and Meadow Road, just outside the city of Lumberton. 25-year-old Tyler Jacob Scott and 25-year-old Destiny Scott were taken into custody last Wednesday on first-degree murder charges and other felony offenses. 18-year-old Xavier Davis of Roland was arrested Sunday and Clonsey McDuffie last night. An unnamed 16-year-old is also wanted in connection to the murder and robbery.
A 69-year-old woman is dead after crashing her SUV into the Airborne and Special Operations Museum in downtown Fayetteville. Arnitha Thompson Johnson ran off the road around 9:20 p.m. Saturday night, and her vehicle lodged in a wall on the Bragg Boulevard side of the building near Walter Street. The road was closed in both directions for 2 hours while emergency personnel tended to the scene. The museum sprinkler system was activated by the crash, and the museum stayed closed on Sunday. The cause of the accident is under investigation.
UNCP is partnering with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction to increase the number of social-based mental health providers. The DPI was awarded $5.5 million from the U.S. Department of Education to help support the pipeline of school counselors, social workers, and mental health clinicians. This grant will serve students in 8 school districts, including Scotland, Harnett, Pitt, and Pender counties. The goal is to encourage those who already have a graduate degree in counseling or social work to utilize UNCP's School Counseling Licensure Program. The Director of School Counseling Program, Dr. Jonathan Ricks, says the region needs the help.
So right now in the region surrounding UNC Pembroke, we have a shortage of school-based mental health professionals. School districts all over are trying to fill positions, and there just aren't enough professionals to fill those positions.
But not like a nasty spray. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services has announced a $4 million grant to enhance the Family Child Care Home Network. This grant will support professional training and curriculum enhancements for preschool and infant care that occurs in home settings, as opposed to daycare settings. Home-based preschools help families who work non-traditional hours, families of color, low income, and families who experience difficulties placing their children in daycare centers.
Filing your income taxes can be confusing, so UNCP's School of Business is stepping up to help out. Students and faculty have become IRS certified to help taxpayers in the community who have household incomes totaling less than $72,000 a year. The clinics are available Fridays and Saturdays now through April. Dr. Scott Cohen teaches the Tax Practicum course that his students are using for service learning. He says it's a win-win situation.
It's a community service, and at the same time it serves our students. So we're able to help them. So instead of going to a paid preparer, or maybe one of those, they can come to us. We're able to do their return for them. So while we're busy helping them, they're busy helping the students in their community get the experience they need for the future.
It just gets more real as you talk to people and as you do stuff in the real world. You can do all the homework, you can do anything on paper, but it doesn't mean a whole lot until you actually, do it for yourself.
We don't have all the answers individually, but together as a group, we definitely can get it done. Dr. Cohen, of course, is here assisting us too as needed, and we just look forward to helping as many people in the community as we can.
This spring break, a group of students will experience an alternative to partying and vacations. The Office of Community and Civic Engagement, along with the American Indian Heritage Center and the Office of Inclusion and Diversity, will be taking a group of 14 students to Baltimore, Maryland. They will engage with the local indigenous populations, including the Lumbees of East Baltimore. The goal is to engage with other communities and learn about the social issues that are important to them. The Associate Director for Inclusive Education, Sam Hauser, says this trip will impact how students can engage with their tribal communities in our area.
And we're exploring the theme Indigenous peoples, learning and understanding Indigenous peoples, because we're from Pembroke, right? It is home of the Lumbee tribe, and so we want to take students to the Lumbee tribe that is located in Baltimore, learn more about their community and the other Indigenous communities that are there, and to bring that knowledge back here, and just to think about, how can we be more intentional with the way that we as a university engage with our greater community.
The cutoff date for this trip has already passed, and the trip is full. But don't worry, the Alternative Spring Break program happens yearly, and other departments are offering spring break activities as well.
Today is Valentine's Day, so of course we ask students how they are celebrating the holiday, or not.
For Valentine's Day, I think I'm just going to hang out and do some homework probably.
Well, I'm going to be at home watching anime, eating food, and in my pajamas, and eating lots and lots of chocolate.
So I just made it Friends Appreciation Day. I got a 22-pack of Fun Dip, and we'll give it out to all my good friends here at Pembroke.
Cook some dinner for my fiance, and I actually do have her something planned when I get off of work that night.
I'm actually not sure yet. I think it's going to be a surprise, but I don't know.
I will be with my friends eating dinner and in matched pajamas.
My plans for Valentine's Day, I am taking my girlfriend to a rage room, and we're going to this really nice restaurant that she's been dying to go to for the last 2 months.
I am spending it with my nieces and nephews. We are baking cookies.
Probably just going to be hanging out with friends. I mean, we got a Valentine's Day dinner for friends, so it's pretty much what I got planned.
Engineers in Turkey may be arrested in the aftermath of the devastating earthquake.
And another unidentified flying object was shot down, this time over Michigan.
Those stories and more after this message. More than a week after an earthquake left Turkey in a wide-reach state of emergency, officials are realizing that many buildings did not meet safety standards. The potential violations have led the Minister of Justice to open investigations regarding buildings in earthquake regions. He has appointed at least 200 public prosecutors and is trying to assure the public that necessary measures are being taken to arrest those responsible. A structural engineer at University College London says the scale of the damage tells it all.
We know that this was a very powerful event, and it was not only one, but two in a row. In fact, the area has experienced aftershocks that would qualify a decent-sized earthquake themselves. So it was a very powerful event that would challenge even code-compliant buildings. However, what we are seeing here is definitely telling us that there was something wrong in those buildings, and it can be that they weren't designed in line with the code in the first place, or the implementation of the design wasn't done properly. We are also seeing in Turkey quite commonly that post-occupancy modifications on buildings actually compromise their structural safety. These are the early days. Hopefully we are going to be on the ground to complete our engineering assessments in due course, but for the time being we can actually say that they were definitely faulty.
The President of Turkey has announced that university education will be remote for the rest of the spring term, so that state-owned dormitories can be used for people who lost their homes in the earthquake. Critics say that switching to online education will increase trauma and loneliness for students and make it harder for the youth to mobilize for opposition's candidates during the presidential election.
The U.S. military shot down another unidentified object Sunday at President Joe Biden's order. According to the Pentagon, the craft was flying at 20,000 feet, this time over Michigan's Upper Peninsula, when U.S. fighter jets took it down. CNN's John Lawrence reports.
This is a turning point where we need to discuss this is a threat and how do we respond to it.
The Pentagon confirmed F-16 fighter jets neutralized a high-altitude device over North American airspace Sunday afternoon.
We were cleared to engage the target in eastern Upper Peninsula of Michigan, overland, and ultimately downed the object at this point about 15 nautical miles east of the Upper Peninsula in Lake Huron.
Pentagon officials say the octagon-shaped object was not a military threat, but rather a flight hazard. This was the third one shot over the U.S. in as many days, and the fourth in just over a week, and lawmakers want answers.
I have real concerns about why the administration is not being more forthcoming with everything that it knows. But part of the problem here is that both of the second and the third objects were shot down in very remote areas.
The Department of Defense says the objects shot down Friday and Saturday didn't resemble the suspected Chinese spy balloon taken down last week. Debris recovery efforts for those downed balloons are ongoing.
The military and the intelligence are focused like a laser on first gathering and accumulating the information, then coming up with a comprehensive analysis of what went on before, what's going on now, and what could go on in the future.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
On Saturday, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau ordered craft over Canadian airspace. He told reporters the following day that recovery teams are, quote, looking to find and analyze the object.
The COVID shot is now on the list of regularly scheduled routine vaccinations for children, teens, and young adults. That's according to the Center of Disease Control. The new recommendations were published Thursday in a CDC weekly report. Along with the COVID shot, key changes to the vaccination schedule include updated guidance for vaccines for the flu, MMR, and hepatitis B. However, this does not mean schools everywhere will require vaccinations to enroll. Vaccination requirements are still being determined by state or local jurisdictions and are not by the federal government.
A university in Colorado was on lockdown early Monday morning after a police canine was killed on campus. It all started when officers at the Colorado School of Mines responded to a man asleep at the wheel of his car. He woke up, but police say when he drove away, he started swerving into oncoming traffic. So officers pulled the driver over, but he slumped over the steering wheel again. When he woke up a second time, he allegedly refused to exit the car and follow instructions. Authorities say that the suspect tried to escape by ramming police cars. Then he allegedly ran out of his car toward campus while pointing a handgun at officers. A few hours later, a Jefferson County canine named Graffit found the suspect in a wooded area but was shot and killed. The suspect later surrendered to police and the university was reopened by 6 a.m.
Some elementary school students in Mississippi are learning important lessons about politics and advocacy. The students are petitioning state lawmakers to name the blueberry Mississippi's state fruit. Here's their story.
Dear Mississippi leaders,
I'm a student at Mansell Upper Elementary School.
Mississippi does not have a state fruit. Our class would like to propose to make blueberry our state fruit.
Every state senator will soon be receiving letters like this from fourth graders at Mansdell Upper Elementary. They read an article in Scholastic News about lobbying efforts for a state fruit in Kansas and thought,
Just like, wow, they could do that. What was our state fruit?
I was surprised that we didn't have a state fruit, and I was happy that we were doing this.
and I mean really doing this.
We reached out to our representative in town, and that was Jill Ford, and she let us. She was so excited, and she came to talk to us.
Blueberry wasn't picked at random.
I research a lot about like where they grow, health benefits.
That research led to the discovery that it's the most produced fruit in the Magnolia State, and Representative Jill Ford filed the official legislation, House Bill 1027.
At first I was kind of skeptical about this idea. I was like, do I really want to do this? Will it really work? And then like the more I did it, the more I joined, the more I was like, oh yeah, I really like this idea. This is a good idea.
Good enough to get the green light from the State House of Representatives, with the Senate the next stop.
So when they do have those learning moments where they are wanting to create something like that, you can't say no. And you just go with it, and that's how it happened. And so it's so exciting that they are getting to be a part of real world social studies and not just reading about it.
We've worked very hard. We've gotten this far. We're also children. How could he say no?
There was only one no vote in the House from a member who says he's not a fan of blueberries. It's still unclear if the Mississippi Senate will go along, and if it passes, whether the governor will sign the measure into law.
A rainy weekend sent some UNCP teams on the road.
And a Super Bowl superfan has yet to break his streak.
CNT's Michaela Trace is here to tell you what's been happening in Braves athletics and beyond.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey Brave Nation, I'm Michaela Trace. Let me tell you what's been going on since last week. Braves baseball had another 3-game series over the weekend. They were originally scheduled to play against Indiana University of Pennsylvania at home, but they ended up canceling the series because of the weather forecast. So they hit the road to take on University of Virginia at Wise. No matter, the unexpected road trip didn't hinder the Braves, who handled business in another 3-0 sweep over 2 days. The Braves put up 68 points to the Cavaliers' 13. They scored 33 in the first game alone. The number 12 ranked Braves are now 6-0 and getting ready to host Belmont Abbey this weekend. Women's basketball extended their win streak to 6 games last week in a conference matchup against Barton College. The now 18-7 Braves shot 42% from the field in their 65-56 victory, while dominating the interior. The team improved to 15-2 in conference play, having won their last 9 home matchups. The Braves get another chance to defend home court tomorrow against Chowan at 5 p.m. and will be on the road Saturday in a matchup against Emmanuel College. Men's basketball hit the hardwood following the women's matchup, and 57 points in the second half helped them finish the sweep of Barton College. After being down by 7 points going into the second half, the Braves came out on a 21-8 run over the Bulldogs. The Braves were shooting nearly 57% from the field, with 3 players scoring more than 14 points each. That final score, 93-74. The men extended their win streak to 17 in a row. a new school record. They're back in action tomorrow night at home after the women's game. The track and field squads traveled up to Virginia Beach to compete in the NCAA Division II Pre-Nationals over the weekend. During the two-day meet, 4 UNCP records were broken and 19 personal bests were set across all events. The Braves had some notable finishes on day 2 with Alicia Artman grabbing 3rd place in the women's shot put and Norman Yunker grabbing a 3rd place finish in the 3,000-meter run. The Braves now prepare for the Conference Carolinas Indoor Championships, which are set for Sunday and Monday in Winston-Salem. The wrestling team took a trip to Greenwood, South Carolina to hit the mat against nationally ranked Lander University for the conference title. The Braves found themselves in a 15-0 hole early against the Bearcats and were never able to bounce back. Competing without 3 of their starters, the Braves took a 30-7 loss. The Braves are now 12-2 overall and looking toward the NCAA Super Regional Tournament, which Pembroke is hosting on February 25th. Elsewhere in North Carolina, it was a memorable senior night for a high school basketball team manager who inspires his players to never give up, because he never gives up. Take a look.
Well, you might have seen him on social media hitting shots from half court, but it's what Spencer Neal brings off the court that makes him an irreplaceable member of the St. Stephen's family.
Number 8, go!
If you've ever been to a St. Stephen's basketball game, you've no doubt seen an energy on the bench that's impossible to miss.
Let's go!
Well, Spencer's one of those kids that his personality and stuff makes it infectious.
Spencer Neal has served as the team's manager since his freshman year and immediately became a part of this family from day one.
My coach believes in me a lot.
He always believes in us as much as we believe in him, so we never feel like we're out of a game, and we talk about never quitting, and Spencer's the definition of never quitting.
His whole life has been about not quitting. Spencer was born with Down syndrome, and from his birth, his parents were constantly told what he would not be able to do in life.
I think I was more nervous about him not having people that would accept him, but he's just one of the guys.
Now they get to watch their son be part of a team every game, something they were told would be impossible.
Spencer will come home and he's like, that's my family, you know. And he talks about Coach Smith and how much he believes in him, and it's really given him the confidence too.
And on Tuesday this week, Neal got to be a part of the team on the court as well, suiting up for senior night and hitting the first basket of the game.
Puts like a joy on my face, exciting for him, because when he made the shot, I just knew how much it meant to him, more than anybody else, really.
Now, as his senior season is coming to an end, Spencer is soaking up every moment he can with this team that made him a part of a family.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be a day hard for me to let go.
You know, I'm going to look over my shoulder some nights next season and he's not going to be there, and I'm going to have to, you know, I've got those moments bottled up that will last forever, so we're really thankful for that.
Now, the plan is for Spencer to attend either Clemson or Western Carolina in the fall, but he says no matter where he ends up, he will always be a part of the team here at St. Stephen's High School.
In the NFL, we all know by now that the Chiefs won the big game over the Eagles in a close 38-35 matchup. The Super Bowl has been going on for 57 years now, and no matter who is playing in the game, one NFL fan has had an unbelievable attendance streak at the big event.
Meet Don Christmas.
Starting to feel real.
For him, the big game is like no other.
I still have every ticket stub and I still have every program.
It is a rite of passage dating back to Super Bowl I.
The tickets were $12 for a sideline and $6 for an end zone.
The Kennebunk, Maine resident has attended every single Super Bowl, 56 in a row, with 2 of his good buddies.
Has it been harder to go to the games over the years?
Oh, it gets harder every year, I think. For more than one reason. Getting old is one of them. Yeah, I'll be 87 in 3 months.
Chrisman sold old memorabilia to keep his streak alive and said he was done with it all after last year in Los Angeles. He touched down in Arizona without tickets in hand.
We want to keep your streak alive. 57 straight is what I'm hearing, right?
That's true if I get there Sunday.
I'm a big fan of keeping streaks alive.
And yet, he scored again.
We're going to send you the Super Bowl. How's that sound?
Oh, my God.
All right, let's go. All right, that's fantastic.
Visa and Verizon donated a pair of tickets to the Super Bowl stalwart as we were talking with Don.
Unbelievable.
Meaning the guy who says this football game is now more about friendship and family will keep his connection for at least one more kickoff.
The streak's alive.
It sure is. Well, if I live to Sunday.
Chrisman has watched 28 different franchises compete in the Super Bowl. That's all for this week. I should mention the Braves swimming team is on their way to Kingsport, Tennessee for their conference championship meet, which will last 4 days. Good luck to them, and I'm out of here.
Thanks, Mahela. That's all for us as well. I'm Madison Schwinniker.
And I'm Andrew Thrift. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.